Hi guys, it's Blake from Soulitude Health. Today we're going to be looking at three aspects of the Titleist Performance Institute's golf screening process. Now I'm a TPI qualified physiotherapist and we're going to be looking at some screening aspects of Matt's golf swing today where we see common referrals from golf coaches or from the athletes themselves coming in just saying, hey look, I've got a restriction in my swing or I've got some pain in my swing, my coach is just wanting a little bit more information about it, or I would like to work on it myself. These are three ways we can really nut out where the problem is coming from, do a comprehensive physiotherapy assessment that is targeted at the golf swing, and work out from there where we can start to help you in your journey to getting more freedom in your golf swing. Okay Matt, so we're just going to go through your golf swing, so just have a couple of nice easy tempoed swings. Perfect. Beautiful. You feel any restrictions with anything there, Matt? No, wonderful. All right, so from there, if you're my first-time golfer coming into the clinic, basically what I'm going to get you to do first is just stand nice and tall, and we're just going to bring your shoulders up to 90 degrees. Okay, feel anything tight there at all? No, perfect. If you can go beyond and take your shoulders backwards further, that's what I'll get you to do. And just try and raise your elbows a little higher for me. Yeah, perfect. Excellent. So what I'm looking to see here is if Matt can take his shoulder back to in line with his body, and if we can go beyond, can you go beyond with that one, Matt? Perfect. We're getting even a little bit more beyond there. Wonderful. So relax that one. Okay, so if I get you now to spin around, yep, wonderful. We're going to check this lead shoulder. Take that one back. Brilliant. Okay, so we can see there he gets at least 90 degrees in line with his body. And if we're thinking about, you can relax there, Matt. We're thinking about our PGA professionals. 92% of those guys can get beyond 90 degrees with both shoulders, but more preferably that trail arm, which is going to affect our backswing more. Okay, so now I can get you to set up to your golf ball, imaginary golf ball there. Wonderful. Now what I'll get you to do is take your right arm off and bring it up to 90 degrees. Beautiful. And what we're looking at here is to see if Matt, in his golf posture, can rotate in line with his body. Now we want to see it at least in line with his body. Keeping in mind we've now changed his posture. He does that beautifully there. All right, Matt, jump on the other side of the mat. Okay, now let's take that lead arm. We'll bring it up as well. Bring it forward. Wonderful. And we'll just check whether that lines up. And he's able to get that one in line with his body there as well. So often what I'll see in the older population or some golfers with some restriction there is we're gonna see that arm come up more level with our body when we're in our posture, if not just below the line of our actual body. What that means is that if we take our backswing, we're going to be holding the club out in front of us and we're already at a chance of taking it over the top. Okay, so from a physio perspective, that's something, whether we work out that that's in the joint or if it's more in the muscle, we can work on that and release that tightness, create a little bit more room to play with, and that's where we can communicate that to our golf coaches, and we're going to start to work on some of those little flaws in the swing. Okay, so one of our next tests that we like to look at, or as part of the screening tool, is to really assess the mobility of the upper back. Now the upper back, if we are restricted in the upper back, we're going to look to use our shoulders more, or we're not going to be able to take the full nice backswing, and we're going to be cut short. And this is where a lot of guys lose a lot of distance. So when we're looking at Matt's upper back rotation, if I get you to firstly just stand up, Matt, we might get him just to take his regular golf setup. And we'll just get him to now rotate back into his backswing. Perfect. And then rotate through into his follow through. Lovely. Okay, so when we can see here is that Matt's hip are facing the target, and you can see the plane of his shoulders there is rotated right around. So I'm not expecting to see too many restrictions here with Matt. I'll get him to take a seat. Now the reason we test this in sitting, we're just going to take out the lower half of the body. So let's just look purely at Matt's upper back rotation. Okay, so I'm going to take that one in, just pop that behind your shoulders there, Matt. Yep, cool, just resting it on your back. Excellent. Now I've got two clubs set up here on the floor. What I'm really looking at is when he rotates through and rotates back, that he can meet the line of our clubs on the floor here. So Matt, if you want to rotate into your backswing, perfect. Now when I stand onto the camera here, we can see that he's taken the club through his shoulders beyond what we're aiming for on the floor with that club there. So we're actually rotating beyond 45 degrees, and that's really what we're after here. All our PGA professionals are rotating beyond 50 degrees. A lot of our amateurs are stuck underneath 45 degrees. And that's really going to impact, as I say, our backswing and our follow through. So let's rotate into our follow through now, Matt. And we're checking to see the alignment of the clubs. And we can see there, Matt, just bring your feet together and pinch your knees. Beautiful. We can see with that rotate, even with the correction of his lower body there, he's still rotating way beyond 45 degrees. So from what we looked at initially, we can tell that Matt's upper back's not a restriction here. However, what we might see is if in some of our individuals who are a bit more restricted, if I give them the club at the front of their body and we take the upper arms out of it and we rotate into that backswing, sometimes we'll see a bit more improvement when they do bring those arms down. Now that can tell me that there's a bit of tightness either across the upper back or across the upper shoulders, even through the chest. And if we rotate into our follow through, we can see there he's gaining a little bit more motion there as well. So there, again, they're the areas I'm looking at. If I'm seeing just a lot of restriction throughout, this is a perfect time for me as a physio to start to look at this upper thoracic area. It might be a bit stiff, it might be a bit tight. We're going to improve that flexibility with a bit of treatment. And that's one of the perfect areas we'll go to. If he's restricted a little bit more through the front or the shoulders, some stretches might be a perfect targeted thing for him. So what we're going to look at now is Matt's rotation in his lower half of his body. Now we've spoken a little bit about the upper body. What I want to look at with the lower body is whether he can get back into and load up into his trail leg and whether he can get right through into his lead leg. That's going to increase our power that we're generating and we're looking to increase a little bit more distance with our amateurs. So let's set up to the clubs on the ground. I've got 2 clubs on the ground here, creating a 60-degree angle for myself. Now, what I want to see in both hips is that we can achieve 60 degrees of internal rotation. Now, if we can get to that mark, we know that we're achieving the PGA Tour average, and we're actually going to be able to generate and get right through the ball. Okay, so Matt, I'll get you to set up to your imaginary ball there. Let's just have a look at Matt's swing. Just swing naturally, Matt. We're just going to look at how he generates his power. Beautiful. So we can see there, he gets right into his lead foot. And we know that Matt's got nice upper back rotation. So he's able to take the club away nice and freely. So Matt, if I take the club now, and I get you to step up to the line here. Wonderful. And then what we're going to do actually just for my purpose and for the camera's purpose, we're going to just feed this alignment stick just through your belt there. That's just going to give us a nice visual indicator. Okay, so what I'll get him to do now is to bring his feet a little bit more narrow out of his golf posture. And because we're going to look initially at his trail leg, we're going to take the lead leg back in line with his heel. We're going to come up onto the toe in that lead leg for me, yep, and keep your weight all in that trail leg. What I want him to do here is to rotate. So you're going to rotate as far as you can, Matt. Okay, can we see there, his alignment stick that we've placed there as an indicator doesn't reach that 60 degree. We've got a restriction, it just tells us we've got a restriction in that trail leg. So we know that we can't expect Matt to load right up into his back leg. Now that's something that we'd look at a little bit deeper through our physiotherapy assessment. We're going to look at whether that's coming from the joint, whether that's coming from muscle restriction. Is that something we can improve on? Or is that something that maybe we need to re-inform our coaches that Matt needs to train around that? And that's just going to be something that they're going to have to account for in his golf swing when they're coaching him. Okay, let's have a look at the other one. So now what I'll get Matt to do is step to this other club here that we've got set up. Bring the feet together, Matt, a little bit narrower. Perfect. Okay, now we're going to take that trail leg back, keep the weight in the front, in the lead leg, and then rotate back towards me as far as you can go. Beautiful. So that's clearly going beyond our 60 degrees that we can see there. If not, that's another thing we'd look at for Matt to work on, whether we've got restriction in that lead leg is going to tell us, okay, maybe you can't get through the ball very easily there. If we go back to, just step back to this one, Matt, just out of a curiosity perspective, if I get him to keep his golf posture now, so we're set up to the golf ball, can you rotate, Matt, can you rotate back into your trail leg? Yeah, and we can see there where the weight goes. Come back to your setup. If we open that back leg up just towards the camera a little bit. Yeah, perfect. Let's see what that does. So rotate back into your backswing.
Keep it in alignment.
Yeah, so keep your alignment. All I'm getting you to do is just flare your trail leg. And again, so we've just allowed him to gain that little bit more range. And now this is something that our golf coaches might offer as an option when they're showing Matt or looking at Matt's swing and how he can improve. Excellent.
But then, oh, that's still good.
You still get through that. Lovely. So guys, what we've looked at today is 3 of the most common restriction areas I see in the screening program. If you're looking for some more information on the screening program, have a look at our website. You can ring the clinic and book an assessment. Golf assessments will be available with me on our website. And have a look on our social media. We're going to have heaps more information there. Feel free to get in touch. Thanks.